Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance the Reader, and today we're doing a book tag video. I have been wanting to do a book tag that I've never done before, and I've gotten lucky a few times so far this year, but this one I have never personally seen anyone do in a video. Obviously, I don't watch every single book tag video there is, but I went on the internet and I found a few that I really liked that were on book blogger sites, so I'm really excited for the few that I'm going to be doing for you guys, especially the one that we're doing today, which is the book sacrifice tag. Whoa. Not really that scary, not really that dramatic, I promise. But I'll put all the information about the tag, where to find it, and the questions in the description box down below. And without further ado, let's get into a book sacrifice tag. Question 1, an overhyped book situation. You're in a store when a zombie apocalypse hits. The military informs everyone that overhyped books are the zombies' only weakness. What book that everyone else says is amazing, but you dislike, do you start chucking at the zombies? So as usual, I have several answers for this because I can't just do it simply. First, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I don't really feel like that series is for me. I read the first book many years ago, and even to this day when I meet people in real life and we're talking about books that we like, and they're always like, do ACOTAR, do ACOTAR. Now this is nothing against ACOTAR as a series, I'm just saying I really didn't like the first book, so you know, I have to feel like, oh yeah, I'll try to read it, maybe. I just don't think that that series is for me, so book 1 is definitely getting chucked at the head of a zombie for sure. Next up, no one is surprised about this, especially if you've been watching my channel since the beginning. Red, White, and Royal Blue. Now unfortunately it's just a paperback, so I don't think it'll do much damage, but I absolutely want to chuck that at the head of a zombie, that is for sure. Just really hated Alex, one of the main characters. Just didn't like the book in general. I could go on, but that one is definitely getting chucked. First book in the Mortal Instrument series, that's the only one I read, but it just was not that great to me, so that one might do some damage because you could get it in the hardcover copy. And then every single book in the Nevernight trilogy. I know I did not finish the 3rd book, but that's okay. I'm still going to chuck it. And I actually think I could do some good damage with those 3. Yeah, not for me, not a Jay Kristoff fan either. So they're going. It's done. They're getting used to save my life, and that's all that matters. Question 2, a sequel. Situation, a torrential downpour. What sequel are you willing to use as an umbrella to protect yourself? First, The Empress by S.J. Kincaid. So that is the 2nd book in the Diabolic series trilogy. I didn't realize there was a 3rd book in that series. I really liked the 1st book, The Diabolic. It was, you know, a good little YA sci-fi. It did what it was supposed to do for me. And I read the 2nd book, which I did feel like the 1st book should have just been a standalone. It could have ended right then and there. We didn't need any more, but they kept going. And the 2nd book, I just really was so disappointed in it. And of course, when I was trying to remember what the name of this 2nd book was, I had to go on to Goodreads. Didn't know there was a fucking 3rd book. So maybe that one too. I haven't read it though, but I would use both as an umbrella if I had access to the 3rd one. I did give the 2nd one away, thank goodness, but yeah, definitely has to go to the 2nd book, The Empress. Next, and I hate to say this, Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. I really liked the 1st book. I liked These Violent Delights. I really think that was another one that should have just been a standalone. I feel like you could have ended it right then and there, wrapped it up. Like, even if the 1st book was a little longer so you could wrap everything up, you know, you could find out what happened with her gang, find out what happened with what's-his-face's gang, Roma's gang, figured out what was going on with her cousin. You could have done all that. You really could have. And then we could have stopped the monster. But the 2nd book, I think it was even longer than the 1st book, which that's not a big deal, but it just, I don't know. It had been so long between me reading the 1st book and the 2nd book. I tried, and I just felt like it was too much. I do really like Chloe Gong though, but obviously I'm willing to sacrifice the 2nd book if I have to keep dry, you know, keep the makeup looking good underneath the rain. Can you blame me? And next, Clown in a Cornfield too. So I really liked the first book. This is by Adam Caesar. I enjoyed that so freaking much. I listened to it as an audiobook. I was so hype for the second book. I couldn't decide. Like, this is how excited I was for the second book. I was trying to decide between pre-ordering it, getting it from the library, getting it as an audiobook from like my credit for that month for Audible. I really wanted it to become free as an audiobook on Hoopla. It since has been made free on Hoopla, but it wasn't at the time. I ended up saying, you know what? You didn't buy the first book, so let's not buy the second book just in case. And I'm glad that I chose not to do that, because I'm glad that I chose not to buy it, because I ended up really not liking the second book. I actually kind of feel like maybe the first book should have been a standalone, and then we don't have the second book, honestly. Although I will say, I do want to listen to the first book all over again, especially this year in Halloween. I might give the second book another try listening to it. We'll see what happens. I mean, it was pretty gory, but a lot of the stuff didn't make any sense. Like, you know, for a slasher book, you know, a lot of stuff can just be like, okay. But that one was very convoluted. I don't know where it didn't really make a lot of sense to me, but it's okay. I would say you could still read it, but I prefer the first book. So that one is getting used to keep my hair from frizzing up. Right? 3, a classic situation. You're in English class and your professor raves about a classic that transcends time. If given the opportunity to travel back in time, which classic would you try to stop from ever publishing? So this one is really hard for me. I don't really have an answer. I don't read a lot of classics. I went through a time in my life in my early 20s where like I thought I could get into classics, and it didn't last very long. I did read a few though, but I didn't hate any of them. And since then, like, I know that classics just aren't for me, so I don't read them. So if I had to sacrifice one that I read and I kind of like, it's probably gonna be Wuthering Heights. I read that so long ago. I don't remember hating it, but I do think that at that time in my life, I told myself I liked it, even though I don't think I really liked it. So Wuthering Heights has got to go. Some people give some really good answers, but those I liked. Like they said Animal Farm. I liked Animal Farm. 1984. I really didn't hate 1984, and I've read it 2 times, right? Once in school and once for a book club, and I didn't hate it the second time. So it has to just be Wuthering Heights in my opinion. If you have a better answer though, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know, for all of those of you who actually enjoy reading classics or you have more experience reading them, I want to know what your answer is. And last, a least favorite book. Situation. Apparently global warming equals suddenly frozen wasteland. Your only hope of survival is to burn a book to keep warm. Which book will you not regret lighting? Okay, Twilight. I went upstairs to look at some of the books that I still own, and Twilight is up there. The reason why I don't feel bad about burning Twilight is because even if I were to unhaul it by like giving it to a library or trying to sell it at Second and Charles, there's so many copies of Twilight, okay? I am not depriving the world of my 4 copies of Twilight. So that's why I don't feel bad about burning Twilight. It would keep me warm, and I think that that is a good sacrifice. Am I wrong? I don't think so. Next, I think that this just makes sense that I would burn these because it would keep me warm probably for a whole entire week. And that is the entire series, the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. And I'm sorry, it's an adult fantasy book. Another one where I feel like I was really trying to push myself to keep going with the series that I was telling myself I liked, but I really didn't like it. I mean, I had to do extensive notes as I read the book. Like there was so much stuff going on, so many characters, so dense, so descriptive. And then it got so confusing. Some people were dead. Some people were dead the whole time. You didn't realize it, but you thought that they weren't. Someone's gone crazy. It was just too much. It was just too much. So I think to keep me safe and warm, it only makes sense that I would burn that series because I have to survive, so why not? Next is the third book in the Ember in the Ashes series. I can't remember if it's Ember in the Ashes or Ember of Ashes, probably Ember in the Ashes. So I like the series, but, and to be fair, this is really my fault. I didn't realize that was going to be a series. I thought it was going to be a trilogy. So I went into the third book thinking, oh, okay, the series is over. I'm excited. I've liked it so far. And I was wrong. And that one was really long. And I just kept going and thinking, okay, how is this going to end? Because this is the last book in the trilogy, just to find out that it was not. So unfortunately, I kind of feel like that one doesn't have to exist for me because of my own fault and disappointment. But I would burn that one because I need to live. So you must be sacrificed. And the next one, besides Nevernight, obviously I'm going to burn Nevernight too, is the Anita Blake series, Everything After Dance Macabre, which is book 14 in the series. At this point, the Anita Blake series, I don't even know how many books there are. I think there might even be like over 30 at this point. This was a series that I've talked about several times on my channel. If you watch me from the beginning, you know how I feel about Anita Blake by Laurel Hamilton. I probably read it way too young, but man, I've got some memories with it. We've stayed strong together, right? So I think I'm even being generous by saying Dance Macabre because I think that book kind of sucked too, but you know, really it's when you get to, oh my God, once you get to Micah was kind of like an annoying book. There's another one where there's the orgy. I can't remember what that one was, but that one's where she goes out of town with Jason. So many things happen. She gets a harem. This is when like Laurel K. Hamilton stops having an editor and it just goes buck wild, okay? Way too many things are going on that is sexual. So the thing is that, like I said, probably started reading this series when I was too young, but you know, it started out really good. You know, Anita isn't terrible, but I've reread this series many times and now I'm 33. And Anita Blake actually is not great. She is definitely a pick-me. She's definitely I'm not like other girls type of person. And the harem just gets out of control. And yeah, you could burn the rest of the series after that. I will continue to read the first like 10 to 12. Like I said, I can't remember what book 13 is. I don't think I hated that one. Book 14, I'm being generous, but everything else, I would be probably warm for a month. That's how long the series is. I would be fine. I would survive on that deserted island. Trust me. And I'm sure others would be able to be sprinkled in this question, but I don't have but so much time, and I don't think y'all care to know every single book that I would burn. But there you have it. That is the book sacrifice tag. And even though this isn't a question, I tag anybody who would like to do this. Please do this tag. I think it's really fun. It's very short. I'll put everything in the description box down below if you want to participate. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked the video, please like the video. And if you like it, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Thank you to everyone who already is subscribed to me. I really appreciate you. And if you like everything, follow me on other social media. I have a Twitter. I have an Instagram. I do reels. Check those out too if you're feeling funky. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And you have a good day. Goodbye.